The wrestling world thrives on moments that blur the line between scripted entertainment and genuine shock, and the latest twist involving Roman Reigns may be the boldest example yet. In a video filmed from his hospital bed, the tribal chief, bandaged, bruised, but burning with defiance, responded to Seth Rollins' fiery declaration of war in a way nobody saw coming. His words didn't just defend his fractured bloodline or promise revenge, they hinted at a seismic alliance that could shake the entire industry. With fans still reeling from the chaos of Clash in Paris and the bloody aftermath of Bron Breakker's assault, Roman's calm but calculated statement sent shockwaves rippling across WWE and beyond. The mere suggestion that he could be calling upon AEW's Jon Moxley, his former Shield brother and one of wrestling's most feared renegades, was enough to ignite debates, fantasy bookings, and speculation about a future that suddenly feels wide open. The fallout from Clash in Paris. Everything traces back to that fateful night in France, where La Défense Arena bore witness to one of the most jarring WWE visuals in years. Roman Reigns, long the immovable cornerstone of WWE's modern era, was left broken on the mat after a merciless 2-on-1 ambush from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Fans in attendance gasped as referees waved frantically for help, EMTs rushed to the ring, and cameras captured the surreal image of the tribal chief strapped to a stretcher, eyes half shut but still smoldering with rage. Jey Uso, fighting through his own injuries, was unable to stem the tide, leaving the bloodline in tatters both physically and symbolically. By the time the dust cleared, it wasn't just Roman's reign that seemed to lie in pieces. It was the very empire he had built, one assault at a time, over the past 4 years. Fans assumed the story would pause while Roman recovered, but in true WWE fashion, the silence was replaced by a shocking voice from the hospital bed. Seth Rollins declares war with Roman and Jey sidelined. Seth Rollins wasted no time seizing the spotlight. Standing in the middle of the ring on Raw, draped in gold and surrounded by his loyal faction, Rollins made a proclamation that reverberated through the arena and across social media. The visionary declared that the age of the bloodline was over, that WWE was entering a new era, and that he, not Roman, would define the future. His words weren't merely a statement of dominance, they were a declaration of war, a gauntlet thrown down at the feet of anyone who dared defend Roman's legacy. For weeks, fans speculated how Roman might respond, if he could respond at all, while Rollins grew bolder, calling himself the true leader of the industry and mocking the fallen tribal chief as yesterday's news. It felt like the start of a power vacuum, one that could reshape WWE in profound ways. A message from the hospital bed. Then came the video. Filmed under harsh hospital lighting, Roman Reigns appeared propped up against white pillows, an IV still taped to his arm, his hair tied back, his voice steady but edged with controlled fury. "Seth," he began, pausing just long enough to let his silence build tension. "You think you've won. You think the bloodline is finished. But family isn't just about blood. It's about who answers when you call." The weight of those words hung heavy, and then Roman delivered the line that detonated across the wrestling world. "I've made a call to someone who understands what it means to be betrayed. To someone who knows that some bonds transcend brands. The shield might be broken, but its spirit, that's forever." The video ended there, but the implication was unmistakable. He didn't say Jon Moxley's name, but he didn't need to. Fans knew exactly who he meant. The Shield, brotherhood beyond borders. For longtime fans, the significance of Roman's words cannot be overstated. The Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley in AEW, were not just another faction. They were a brotherhood that stormed WWE in 2012 and redefined what a dominant unit could look like in modern wrestling. Tactical, ruthless, and united, the Shield became a juggernaut whose impact is still felt today. Their eventual implosion, driven by betrayal and ambition, remains one of WWE's most iconic storylines. Yet underneath the betrayals, the triple threat clashes, and the years of separation, fans have always held onto the idea that the brotherhood was real, that the connection between the three men transcended kayfabe. Roman's hospital bed tease tapped directly into that lingering belief, suggesting that while corporations and contracts may separate them, loyalty and shared scars might one day bring them back together. The AEW factor and industry implications. Mentioning Jon Moxley, even indirectly, introduces complexities far bigger than one storyline. Moxley has been a cornerstone of AEW since its inception, building his name as the unhinged, fearless brawler who thrives in chaos. He is AEW's warhorse, its backbone, and one of the clearest examples of a star thriving outside WWE's walls. The idea of him aligning with Roman Reigns, even symbolically, blurs lines between rival promotions in a way that professional wrestling hasn't seen in decades. Could this mean an actual WWE-AEW crossover? Is this just narrative illusion meant to stir buzz? Or could Roman's words be planting seeds for an unprecedented collaboration? The industry has rarely been more competitive, yet also rarely more interwoven, thanks to global streaming, fan demand, and the reality that wrestlers' legacies are bigger than any one company. Roman's tease forces fans to imagine possibilities that seemed impossible a year ago. The bloodline in jeopardy. The immediate stakes, of course, are within WWE itself. With Roman sidelined, the bloodline is vulnerable like never before. Solo Sikoa's silence grows heavier by the week. Jimmy Uso's absence sparks rumors of a deeper rift, and Jey Uso's hospitalization leaves gaps in the once unbreakable dynasty. Seth Rollins and his allies see a chance to dismantle what remains, while opportunists across the roster circle like vultures. Roman's hospital message reframes the conflict. The bloodline may be battered, but the war is far from over. By hinting at calling in help from beyond WWE's walls, Roman raises the stakes beyond faction versus faction. He's reframing the fight as one about legacy, loyalty, and the bonds of brotherhood forged not by bloodline, but by shared battles in the trenches of the Shield. Fan reactions and speculation. When Roman Reigns' hospital bed video hit social media, the reaction was nothing short of explosive. Within minutes, hashtags like Moxley and the Shield began trending worldwide on X, formerly Twitter, sparking one of the most feverish nights of wrestling discussion in recent memory. Forums like Reddit's r/squared circle lit up with theories, some realistic, some outlandish, but all driven by the electricity that comes when a storyline feels bigger than the company that created it. Longtime fans remembered the last time all three Shield members stood together, and the thought of Roman and Moxley sharing a moment again, even if it was just symbolic, was enough to send imaginations racing. What if Moxley appeared in the crowd, unannounced, staring Rollins down as Roman's message played? What if a backstage cameo blurred the lines even further, making fans question what was real and what was scripted? The beauty of Roman's carefully chosen words lies in their ambiguity. He didn't say Moxley's name outright, but the pause in his delivery, the emphasis on betrayal, and the reminder that the Shield's spirit is forever, gave fans permission to dream. And in professional wrestling, speculation is currency. Every debate, every prediction video on YouTube, every fantasy booking thread fuels anticipation, ensuring that the storyline doesn't just live on TV, it lives in the collective imagination of the WWE Universe. Moxley's silence speaks volumes. What makes the speculation even more powerful is Jon Moxley's silence. Known for his unpredictability and his refusal to play by anyone's script, Moxley has built his reputation as a man whose actions speak far louder than his words. Since leaving WWE and reinventing himself in AEW, he has become a symbol of freedom, grit, and raw authenticity. He doesn't respond to rumors, rarely gives conventional interviews, and thrives on keeping people guessing. And yet, the lack of any denial or acknowledgement in the wake of Roman's message has fueled the fire in ways even a comment might not have. Fans know that if Moxley wanted to shut down speculation, he could. A single sarcastic remark in a promo or an offhand comment online would be enough to douse the flames. Instead, he's chosen silence, which feels like a deliberate decision. AEW fans are quick to remind WWE loyalists that Moxley is neck-deep in his own rivalries, delivering blood-soaked wars that have elevated his aura as one of the industry's most dangerous men. But that only makes the tease more enticing. Imagine the collision of worlds if Roman Reigns, dressed in the aura of the tribal chief, were to one day stand side by side with Moxley, the unhinged brawler who carved his own path outside WWE. It wouldn't just be nostalgia, it would be an earthquake, a collision of identities forged in different companies but born in the same brotherhood. The bigger question: can wrestling truly cross boundaries? Of course, the larger question looming over this entire storyline is whether professional wrestling, as an industry, is ready to break the walls between promotions. WWE has historically been insular, choosing to acknowledge only its own history and rarely its competitors. For decades, references to rival companies were treated like taboo, carefully avoided to preserve the illusion that WWE stood alone as the pinnacle of the sport. AEW, on the other hand, has embraced the open-door philosophy, partnering with NJPW, AAA, and even smaller independents to create dream matches that fans never thought possible. Roman's hospital bed message, subtle though it may have been, represents a potential crack in WWE's carefully constructed wall. Even if no actual partnership emerges, the fact that WWE allowed one of its biggest stars to make such a pointed reference is telling. It acknowledges that fans don't live in bubbles anymore, that they are aware of AEW, NJPW, Impact, and the entire global wrestling landscape. The internet age has flattened the walls between companies, and fans expect at least a nod toward the bigger picture. Could WWE finally be considering what fans have clamored for, a world where promotions coexist and dream matches aren't limited by corporate lines? Even a symbolic gesture, like Roman invoking Moxley's name without a physical crossover, shows that WWE may be willing to play with these ideas in ways they never would have in the past. What comes next for Roman Reigns? In the immediate future, Roman's storyline absence is explained by his Hollywood commitments, particularly his role in the upcoming Street Fighter film. Yet his presence continues to dominate WWE programming. Every time Seth Rollins mocks him, every time the Bloodline's fractured state is mentioned, the shadow of the tribal chief looms large. WWE knows the value of absence. By keeping Roman physically off TV but allowing his voice to break through in moments like this, they ensure fans never stop talking about him. When Roman eventually returns, it won't just be a comeback. It will be an event, a narrative detonation that reshapes everything around it. The possibilities are endless. Will he bring a reforged bloodline to battle Seth Rollins' faction? Will he surprise the world by aligning, even temporarily, with Jon Moxley in a move that transcends brands? Or will WWE use the tease as fuel for fan debate while ultimately keeping the feud within its own walls? No matter the direction, Roman's hospital bed message has planted seeds that will grow in every fan's imagination until the day the tribal chief walks back down that ramp. And when he does, the pop will be deafening because the anticipation has been crafted with surgical precision. Final thoughts. Brotherhood, betrayal, and boundless possibility. At its heart, Roman's message wasn't just a threat to Seth Rollins. It was a reminder of what makes wrestling so uniquely compelling. Stories here never truly end. Bonds are never truly broken. Betrayals echo for years, but so do alliances, and the memories of brotherhood linger long after companies and contracts change. By invoking the shield, Roman tapped into a vein of nostalgia that is raw, powerful, and universal among fans. By hinting at Jon Moxley, he dared to blur the line between WWE and AEW, sparking conversations that stretch far beyond the confines of a single storyline. Whether this tease evolves into a genuine cross-promotional moment or remains a clever masterstroke of suggestion, its impact is already undeniable. Fans are buzzing, podcasts are dissecting every word, and the wrestling world is reminded once again why Roman Reigns sits at the center of the industry. The question isn't just whether the tribal chief will rise again, it's who he'll bring with him when he does. And if the answer, even in spirit, is Jon Moxley, then professional wrestling may be on the edge of an era that redefines everything we thought we knew about loyalty, rivalry, and the true meaning of family.